What's good, YouTube? It's me, Jupiter, back at it again with another video. And it's Halloween. So I think perfect time to talk about one of my favorite shows just in general, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. If you don't know, it's a show about a group of cops, but that's not really important for today. Because all we're talking about is their annual tradition of the Halloween heist, where the group all challenges to heist a specific object at some point. It started off just between two of them, but eventually all the squad got involved and it became chaos. I'm gonna rank them from my least favorite to favorite. I want you to watch the episodes and the show for yourself. Spoilers ahead. There is some plot elements in some heists, and also they are enjoyed best when you don't know who is going to win. Cool? Cool. Let's get this started with my least favorite heist, coming from Season 7, Episode 11. I personally regard this as the worst, just because they tried to change things up that just fall flat for me. Worst cold open. It's not in general, that's a separate list, but it spoils one of the situations that happens at the start. One of the fun of the Halloween heist is seeing the different plans and what occurs. The main thing that sets this heist apart is teams that are handcuffed together. There have been many teams in the past, but the handcuff gimmick is unique. And also that this is multiple heists. From the first heist, which takes place on Halloween, the second on Valentine's Day, and the third on Easter. None of the individual heists were that impressive either. The first was literally just a smoke screen. And the second was a crowd of people all bringing items, which you'll see later happens a good amount in these heists. And the third and final one was just bunny suits. No, not like that, like Easter bunny suits. And it's really lame. The monologue at the end was meh as well. I'll still say this is a fine episode. It has funny moments, like multiple people messing up Jake's therapist. But as a heist, it was just not what I was going for. We just had heist number 7. It's only appropriate that for number 7, we have heist number 2 from season 2, episode 4. The issue with this heist is plain and simple. It's not much of a heist. The item, Captain Holt's watch, gets taken at the start and then presumably lost. And then the rest of the episode is Jake trying to get it back. Now, this is a fine idea for a show, but there is a lot of episodes that are on the clock, as you can guess, kind of from a cop show. So it didn't really feel that new. Also, early Halloween heist had subplots. It's really forgettable. Gina takes time away from work to focus on dancing, but Terry finds out, tells her to focus back on working, and she gets kicked out of dance troupe. Do you see that there's no Halloween there? I will say the monologue at the end is perfect. Every single thing that went wrong for Jake, Holt had planned out for over a year. Seeing him actually branch out and have fun was one of the fun things from the early heist. Overall, I can't hate this one for being the second heist. It does have good moments. The cold open is really fun with Boyle coming in with a bunch of different costumes. Yeah, solid, but all the drawbacks I mentioned, placing it down here. From 6 to about 3, these can kind of be interchangeable. They're all very solid in their own ways, and I'm bad at ranking things. So, let's just go ahead with number 6, from season 6, episode 16. The thing with this heist is that it's very, I don't want to say formulaic. It does a lot of the same things over and over. The plot of this heist is on Cinco de Mayo, because that's also just happens to be when Terry is up for lieutenant position, I believe. And they do a heist to get his mind off of things. This is set up in the cold open, which that just leaves the rest of the episode for a heist. And for what it is, the heist is good. I mentioned earlier, it does all the same things, and that's because the heist is just Jake does a plan, it works, and then he betrays Terry. There are things happening on the side as well. A minor plot of this is everyone's betraying each other, and Rosa betrays Boyle by doing the most illegal act of these heists. She drugs him and it tries to ship him to New Jersey. The way this all comes to head makes Terry's yelling about how everything's going too far seem genuine, which does make for a decent twist on the first watch. Yeah, really good heist, just a bit repetitive and all. Also, we like to see a win for Terry. I mean, he's super strong and all that, but he isn't like taken seriously for his brains. Speaking of characters that aren't usually taken seriously, let's move on to heist number 4 from season 4, episode 5. Immediately setting the tone. All 3 of the previous people announcing the heist, but Holt coming in with a full jazz band. This heist actually introduces a fair few things that are staples to the heist going forward. Most notably the introduction of Bill alongside Cheddar. While he's made appearances before, his first heist. This is also the first heist that did not have any kind of subplot. It did occasionally cut to Terry alongside Hitchcock and Scully, and that's not part of the heist, but it's really more like a runner, if I'm using that term correctly. The heist itself, it's alright, and I do like the teams here. This was the first heist to do teams of 2. Good call to have more sides to bicker amongst themselves. The twist was pretty well handled. Gina was taken out early, but it feels less like it's setting up that her gonna win and more of just another obstacle for Jake to overcome. And all in all, really good. Oh, we went from the 5th slot being for Heist 4. Let's get to the 4th slot being for Heist 3. Season 3, Episode 5. This one set up what Heist would more or less look like, in multiple parties vying for one object. This heist was the previous 2 winners competing for the ultimate victor of the heist. Both teams don't want to have Amy. Jake because Amy would do anything for Captain Hulk, and Holt because he believes Amy would flock to Jake's side because at this point in the show, they've begun dating. It does sort of make it obvious who would ultimately win the heist, at least on a rewatch. But I feel like when you're first watching, you're only thinking it's got to be either Jake or Holt. What's putting this one ahead is it has some great Holt moments. It was honestly a sleeper hit. I thought this would be ranked like 6. The cleavage cloaks the camera with their curves. Holt posing his victory photo without Jake's knowledge. And just several more moments. There was a subplot, but it's not really there. It's Boyle setting Gina up with a guy, and she doesn't believe him because it's Heist and everyone's being weird. Overall, very solid. And coming in 3rd, we've got the one that started it all. Heist numero uno, season uno, episode 6. That's right, I was being Italian there. Now, on rewatch, it's a lot different than the other heists, but that's early season charm. You can tell the difference. Jake catches a bad guy and says, wow, I'd be a really good criminal. And then makes a bet with Holt, and the rest of the episode is him failing. Immediately showing just how competitive these heists can get, while still keeping things to a minimum. This is the first heist, after all. But yeah, the heist was really good. The subplots were not. This is the worst example. But it's also the most reasonable, because this is the 6th episode of the show. They still need to establish their characters more. The first subplot, Amy and Boyle have to do jobs, and Amy does not like Halloween. Honestly, looking what they deal with, more valid on Amy's end. And the second, much lamer subplot, Terry thinks Rosa wasn't that much of a badass, and tries to prove it. Terry and Rosa is just a goddamn normal subplot. Whatever. The real kicker is the monologue at the end. He reveals every failure was a part of his plan. The best heist monologue. The next 2 entries, I would say, are better than this episode. They don't have as good of monologues. Overall, great way to get this started, but it just got outclassed by 2 others. Yeah, well, would you believe it? The finale of the whole show is one of the better ones. Season 8, episodes 9 and 10. Now, this feels unfair, right? Not only is the 8th heist the finale, but it's also 2 episodes. Obviously, that's an inherent advantage, but you can't watch the episode ignoring that. The whole point of this heist is that it's the final thing. Jake, Amy, and Holt are all planning this one heist as their ultimate goodbye. Now, Holt is becoming a commissioner. Amy is moving up, but in a different precinct. Jake's is the ultimate surprise. He is quitting his dream job, the job we've seen him in for 8 seasons at this point, to look after his and Amy's kid. It's touching, and it sets the whole heist in motion, which the heist itself is really good. They start off with a scavenger hunt of notable characters and moments. The various callbacks are great, kind of shoehorned, but this is the final episode, they're going to do that. But it culminates in there being various fakes of the prize. There's a lot of back and forth of the canisters, but it's mostly Jake's plan up until the end of the first episode, where Boyle finds out Jake's leaving and storms off, betrayed. Once that's all wrapped up, as Amy is still very competitive, an early character trait of hers, it's Boyle and Jake rather than Jake and Amy, and this leads to not the most illegal, but probably the most fucked up heist moment. Amy convincing Jake that he was in a several-year coma, where Boyle felt so guilty he left the country, and in the meantime, she's been physically active with one of her exes that Jake hates. It's really fucked up, and not even really that funny, and all for the sake of the heist. It all culminates at the storage facility where they did their first ever job with Captain Holt. They're all locked in, Jake says his goodbye, they rush back to the precinct, and the ultimate winner is Hitchcock. I'll give you points that it's a surprise. Well, it's a surprise because he was said to be in fucking Brazil before this. It's the win that is the least satisfying, which they even acknowledge later in the episode. But what truly sets this apart is after the heist, especially Holt and Jake, who have the best goodbye and one of the best moments of the show, reflecting on how much they've changed. There's also some cute banter back and forth, and it's the end. This was the best way to end the show, but it is not the way to end this video. As impactful as all that is, it was still held back by bits of the heist itself and the heist conclusion. By process of elimination, and if you've seen the show, you already knew it'd be here, the best heist is heist number 5 from season 5, episode 4. The heist is just great. It's all back and forth, everyone's planned something, but Jake's plan immediately falters. The cummerbund gets moved without people knowing multiple times, a lot of which very comedic with great moments. But what really sets this episode ahead is having all the aspects you want of a heist, and the conclusion being Jake's proposal to Amy. This was the first really huge moment that happened during a heist, and it's the best. The whole episode, Amy and Jake were competing, and Amy would often make comments at Jake. He can't surprise her at this point. His plan, while it wasn't perfect, it ended exactly how he wanted. The only drawback it has is that it led to arguments about who the real winner was in the show. I always thought it was obvious it was Jake's win. I mean, come on. Okay, so Amy did see through his plan of where the cummerbund was going. She got a fake one. And Holt, my guy, you got the cummerbund after midnight. The whole point is to get it before midnight. Just because you got the prize after does not mean you win. Because they keep this argument up in the other heist. Sorry for the tangent, but if we're talking about who won what, those are my takes. And that is my ranking of all of the Halloween heists. They are one of the best aspects of an amazing show. I really hope you enjoyed this. It's a lot different subject than what I normally do, which is just cartoons. This has been Jopta. Happy Halloween! And catches.